to accept the statement that I was not even part of, the one of Sipungu. I did not know that such statement is attached in my docket.
Okay. You know about General Khan's statement. I mean,
Yes, I know about General Khan's statement.
you know about it.
Yes.
You took it. You asked for it.
No.
How does it land in your document?
It was brought to me.
By who? And how?
It came with Colonel Steen. If you can check, even the person who commissioned that statement, I believe it's Colonel Steen.
But you became aware of it.
I became aware of the statement.
And you became aware that he places himself on the scene quite actively.
Yes.
Which takes me to my earlier question, that when you see that and you know it is not true, according to you, what do you do about it? Why do you do nothing about it?
To be honest, Commissioner, I did not interrogate the statement of him placing. I've just seen the statement. Then, yes, he was on the scene. He admitted that he was on the scene, but I did not pick up that thing, because even if he was placing General Carter to be managing the scene, maybe he can interpret that being in charge of the scene is not me, but in essence, he was not.
Well, it's not just a case of interrogating the statement. His statement is about that. Every part of it is about him being contacted, him arriving at the scene, him doing this and that, and then at some point leaving. So it's not something that you find because you've interrogated the statement. It is something that's on the face of the statement. But I refer to the statement only to indicate to you that even Khan himself places himself on the scene, but a whole lot of people place him on the scene, including employee of Scania. There's a Ricket who places him on the scene, who says, Khan arrived. I called Khan because I'm a former, in his disciplinary hearing, he says, well, I called him because I knew him. I used to work for the police. And I called him when I heard, while I was still at home, that there are people at my company. And I called Khan, and Khan did arrive. So you have multiple people who are placing him on the scene. And my original question to you stands that from your own docket, you would have known that they say Khan was there. From your own docket. From your IPID engagement, you know there's a story about Khan being there. You were in charge of the scene. You don't mention Khan being there. Not only that, you also don't mention that I heard much later, and I see from statements that people say Khan was there and that he was doing ABCD. I never became aware of it. And your silence about him suggests, may in fact suggest, that you made the deliberate decision to keep him out of your story, because until it is explained satisfactorily by you why he doesn't feature at all in your testimony, written and oral, it gives the impression you made a decision to keep his name out until the prison visit. I know you're going to speak about the prison visit, but to Pakula, and you speak about him there. But his presence at the scene, it seems, it gives me, let me speak for myself, the uncomfortable impression that you made a deliberate decision to keep General Khan's name out of your mouth and out of your statement. You can comment, but that's, I've shared with you the impression that I'm getting about this issue.
Yes, I got that, Commissioner, but let me just, with regard to one, Mr. Rickard, for sure, is Franco Rickard. On the statement that he made, that was never reflected, unless if he made the second statement when IPID was investigating. Franco Rickard, if he's the person that was driving the black Jeep, never made mention to me of General Khan. He explained when, upon entering, what he observed, going back to where he drove past the roadblock meant by other people that wasn't informed them. That one, I think, is the person that I interviewed. But none of them, when I was interviewing them, indicated to me that this is the person that we were dealing with. I could not have ignored what happened, because if I was aware that he once placed himself on the scene, I would have interviewed him one-on-one, because I did not get that part to say, before you could arrive, there was this interaction of your suspect and so and so. I did not get that, commissioners, and I did not deliberately ignore the presence of General Khan on the scene.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Ms. Baloyi.
Thank you, Colonel. It's worth noting that in the docket, at least 5 individuals, including Khan, places themselves at the scene, and some of these statements were taken in the same month of the incident. So this is in July during your investigation. And I mean, I'm not sure we'll get to what happens in the disciplinary hearing, but in Major General Khan's disciplinary hearing, you were called to testify, and there too, you don't mention anything about Khan's presence. And so it does beg the question whether the silence is deliberate, given the many statements that mention Major General Khan's presence.
I could not pick up. You say it did not make what?
I am saying that in the docket and in the month in July, there are a number of statements that make mention of Major General Khan's involvement, including Major General Khan himself.
Correct.
Then later, if you look at your testimony in the Khan disciplinary inquiry, there too you don't mention Major General Khan's involvement. And so I wonder whether or not it's indeed deliberate.
It can be deliberate.
For me, and maybe I will differ with you here, looking at Major General Khan's statement, he says he left a few minutes after 12. And if I remember correctly, Colonel, you said you arrived at the scene at 11:45.
Correct.
Somewhere there, and not exact. And you say when you got there, you did not see General Khan.
I did not see
But
General.
you cannot dispute that he was there.
I cannot dispute it.
And just reading his statement, to me, all General Khan says is that he asked various people what they were doing there, and he called their supervisors. I don't read anywhere in General Khan's statement where he says he interacted with the exhibits. He called LCRC because I would assume that if somebody is in charge of the scene, they would then take responsibility for calling LCRC, calling the photographer, giving them instructions as far as where to put the exhibits, what to record and what to photograph. He says he was there, and you can't dispute he was there because he says he was there. Many other people say he was there.
Correct.
And he says he left just after 12. But I agree with Commissioner Baloyi. I don't know what you were asked when you were asked to prepare your statement. It leaves an uncomfortable feeling that when you came here, you knew that there is this statement because it was given to you by staying. And you were told by IPIT that Khan was there. People say he was there. And you don't mention that part. So that still leaves a sense of discomfort. But I will leave it at that. But to be fair to you, his account of when he arrived there and when he left, and he doesn't say at any stage he interacted with the relevant exhibits that you were investigating. So.
And it's fair, Commissioner.
And I think you must accept the criticism.
I am accepting.
You must accept the criticism, but when you came here, you knew that there was this statement. and IPIT had told you that he was there. So you don't have a good explanation for why you did not mention that. Although I did not see him, I was told at some point that he was there.
That
And
is-
I even saw a statement given to me by Stein. So
That is correct, Commissioner.
I'm trying to be neutral. I'm not saying you are right.
No,
I'm not saying
I think, Commissioner, I'm taking the criticism positively that this is what happened and it should be looking strange to those who are getting this information.
And the discomfort extends to you not mentioning. I mean, these are lieutenant generals at the subs. They are major generals, all three of them. Major General Kado, Major General Lekalakala. If they were present at the scene while the scene was active and alive, and you say nothing about what they did, what their role was, what instructions they gave, it makes us wonder whether you're trying to protect them or what.
Maybe also in fairness to you, I should point out that in the various, in the disciplinary hearing of General Khan, Mahane Pakula and someone else, they say that Khan instructed them to go and sit in the bakkie, in the motor vehicle, in that black motor vehicle. And you say in your statement that when you arrived there and you went to speak to the owner of the bakkie, the person that Endo pointed out as the person who was trying to drive away, he was in fact sitting in the bakkie.
Correct.
So you may well have missed Khan. One shouldn't perhaps at this stage exclude that possibility that you may have missed it, but there's still the criticism about why do you not mention anything about him.
Correct, Commissioner.
Colonel, if we can then turn to paragraph 22, and you were dealing with the day after.
Yes, Commissioner. On Saturday, 2021, 07:10, a day after the arrest of these four people, whilst at Boyson's police station, busy taking fingerprints of the arrested people together with Officer Pume, we were confronted by Colonel Sipungu, who I found out that is at head of his detective, and he said to me, in fact, it is supposed to be to me, there is no charge of attempted theft. So I have arrested those people for nothing. I was
Mind
so,
just increasing the volume, so maybe it's just me.
I was so concerned about this utterance. I then phoned Brigadier Skhobela, my provincial commander, and she advised me that if he continue, I must report him formally. I then informed Colonel Sipungu, who was with a group of people, that I will report, in fact, his action, and he apologized.
Yes.
On Monday, 2021, 07:12, whilst at Boyson's court, trying to place the docket on the roll, so to say, Colonel Sipungu entered the public prosecutor's office, and he told the prosecutor, who was busy reading my docket, that Sebola did not want to take my statement with regard to it supposed to be the incident. And he said Pakula informed him and he placed him on duty. I investigate the relevancy of what he was telling me by phoning Brigadier Skhobela to check with his Sipungu's office. And the response I got was that he is on leave. I then let him make that statement and attached it to the docket.
Colonel, what did you make of Colonel Sipungu's conduct with these interactions with him?
In fact, it was disruptive.
You considered it disruptive?
Yes.
More directly, that he was saying there was nothing wrong that warrant officer Pakula had done.
Sorry, Commissioner?
More directly, is it not so that he was basically saying there was nothing wrong that warrant officer Pakula had done?
Yes.
he had given him permission to go there. That was the thrust of what he was saying. I'm not saying that was correct.
No,
I'm just saying.
I just want to say,
Yes.
if indeed he gave Pakula the permission to go, he should have not started by saying, you should not have arrested these people. There is nothing like attempted theft, because the only thing that you can explain this is to say they wanted to leave. But that is incomplete. That is what he's telling me. That is incomplete. If you wanted to say it's attempted theft, it can be. Then that utterance itself is directly, I could say, is disruptive. But instead of him to say, I'm only coming here to assist you, Pakula informed me, can I submit a statement so that maybe he can be cleared of any wrongdoing? Then I think that approach and that direction would have assisted me if indeed the intention was to do what they did.
And then, once you find out that Colonel Sipungu was on leave, what was the relevance of that? Is it that he couldn't have then granted him permission?
Okay. This was in reference to check the procedure or the protocol or how do we operate in the police. Once you are placed on leave, you don't get yourself involved in anything that is happening in the office. That is why we have, it's you, it's your second in charge, it's another person. The other person who is in charge of the office in your absence, he's the person that should have at least say, I can confirm that the member is on leave. But this call, this thing indicated to me that he was used as a cover-up, so that this person is the one that can bail me